Welcome to 21st Sports, and we're talking about the Cleveland Browns and their firing of Mike Pettine as head coach. And the Browns didn't even wait until Monday. They fired Pettine right after the game. Pretty much the decision had already been made. And as far as I'm concerned, Pettine really never should have even been the coach of the Browns. They should have stuck with Chudzinski. They were headed in the right direction. And actually, in the first season with Pettine as head coach, they were 7-9. They had a good pass defense that year, but not a good rush defense. And then this year, in 2015, they regressed to 3-13, and they just totally fell apart on defense. Of course, Pettine's pedigree was that he was a defensive coordinator with Buffalo and the Jets. Before that, he spent one season with the Bills, and he was the coordinator for the New York Jets for 4 years, from 2009 to 2012. And before that, he was a linebacker coach for the Baltimore Ravens. And he also was a defensive assistant and a coach assistant. Video, he worked in there too, and quality control back in 2002, 2003, then 2004, and then 2005 to 2008. He was the linebacker coach, outside linebacker coach for the Ravens. So his specialty is defense, but the defensive statistics for Cleveland this year were pretty paltry, as they were down in the bottom of defensive statistics. If you look at the numbers on defense, the Cleveland Browns were 27th in yards allowed in 2015 and 29th in points allowed. And their passing defense in yards allowed, 22nd. Their rushing defense, 30th in yards allowed. And on offense, they weren't much better, as they were 25th in yards on offense, 30th in scoring on offense. In their passing offense, 21st in yards. Their rushing offense, 22nd in yards. So their offense is a little better than their defense. And the thing is, he's a defensive coach, and they're supposed to be better on defense, and they weren't getting it done. I thought that the Browns were a team that were on the verge when they had Chudzinski as coach, but they only gave him 1 year. Then they brought in Pettine. I can understand Pettine was a hot candidate at the time, but it did not work out. And they said they had something going with Chudzinski. Pettine was able to pick up in the first year and build on that success. As back in 2013, Cleveland had, I think it was like 9 games where they lost within one possession. And then in 2014, they were able to get up almost to 500 at 7-9. Then, as I already said, they end up regressing to 3-13. Also, you got to think about the way that Pettine handled the whole Johnny Manziel situation. Didn't help any. And we look at those 3 wins for the Browns. The only teams that the Browns managed to defeat in 2015, we got the Tennessee Titans. They beat back in week 2, and in week 5, they beat the Ravens in overtime. That was in Baltimore. Of course, that first victory was in Cleveland. And then their second win at home, their 3rd win of the season, in week 14 against the San Francisco 49ers, who also ended up firing their coach as well. They did show, some promise there in week 16, giving a tough game to Kansas City in Arrowhead. But that would not be enough to save Pettine's job. They said they were supposed to be a team moving up, and they had a lot of talent on their roster. At least, a couple years ago, they were a team that looked to be on the verge of, finally having some success after, being down in the basement for so long. But the troubles just continue in Cleveland. They fire another coach. Of course, you can't blame them for firing Pettine. Like I said, they regressed in their stats on both sides of the ball, were in the bottom of the league, especially on defense, and that's something where that's supposed to be Pettine's specialty, is defense. And if they can't get it done on the defensive side, well, it's time to move on. Of course, Cleveland needs to have some kind of consistency at head coach, but it's going to be a while before that happens, because you got to build that. So now they got to start from scratch all over again. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions. Thank you very much for listening. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and having a great weekend and enjoying all the sports.